Hey guys, welcome back to Scarlet and Great Ohio State Football with Scarlet and Great. Thank you so much for joining us on today's show. Today we are going to talk about Quinn Ewers and those like him. This pending transfer, by the time you watch this, you may have the answer. Did he transfer into Ohio State early? Did he make fall camp? Is he going to show up later? Is he going to stay and go through his senior year in Texas high school football as originally planned? This video, though, will still be relevant because we are going to talk about whether or not this is a good or bad thing for him and for Ohio State and basically the landscape of college football. Some people might say this is going to absolutely ruin high school senior years, high school football, and maybe even college football when we add in this element of name, image, and likeness now in the state of Texas affecting high school players as well. As always, if you could please remember to subscribe to this channel, help us get to 2,500 subscribers by the season's kickoff. We would greatly appreciate that. Help us build this platform. By the time season kicks off, we'll hopefully be on to bigger and better things. I'm going to bring in my fearless co-host, Florida Corey, and we are going to jump right into this. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Florida Corey, how are you, my friend?
Tired.
Yeah,
Tired.
I wanted good. I wanted to say in the last video I said the more subscriptions we get, Michigan seems to do worse. There's another thing that brings me joy in my life, guys. Ohio State football doing well. Generally, my life's been going good. Work's been going good. Things with the family, the baby, everything's good. So it seems like my life gets better at the more subscriptions we get. The other thing that brings me joy, actually, is Corey facing troubles and inconveniences in his life. Corey's life has been on a downward trajectory as the subscriptions raise. So please like and subscribe, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and I can continue to witness just some epic downfalls of Florida, Corey.
Why do you all hate me? What? I mean, I get Michigan fans hating me, but come on, Buckeye Nation, help me out here.
It's fun. It's so much fun. Maybe one day we'll tell you about it.
Yeah, I guess. Today, just after we got our truck fixed, Dad takes off and gets a flat tire.
Yes, it's the subscriptions, man. I'm telling you.
He's texting me. I got a flat tire on the way to a bit of job. I'm like, yep. I don't know what's going on right
Tell
now.
them to stop driving backwards through military gates that say "Do not back up." Spike strips.
Now you probably tick somebody off.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, y'all aren't interested in that anyway. But anyway, going on. Look, it looks like Ewers might be skipping his senior season of high school, Johnny.
Yeah.
Seniors. It's a little interesting, isn't it? I mean, it's like something we haven't really heard of before. We've heard early enrolling, obviously. Which to be honest with you, I don't know what the reaction was at the time that actually became the norm. I'd be interested to see people were like, college football is gonna be ruined.
It would be hard to spin that, I would think, but I'm sure someone did.
Yeah, I'm sure there was the old-fashioned traditionalists out there and now they're going to be back. When you see the college football's changing, but this is going to be like an interesting, maybe even controversial topic because I think we have some viewpoints on that aren't necessarily our own, but just something we've heard through the grapevine a little bit with people. Because obviously the reaction to this by Buckeye Nation's been positive, largely positive, but there are those not that happy with what's going on right now. There's for varying reasons that we're going to go through. We got to discuss it. Why not? That's what we're here for. So, and this is not about, by the way, just real quick, this is not about whether he would start or not. I'm not getting into that. I did that on Twitter. I don't want to get into that with people. You're going to think what you want to think anyway. There's no convincing anybody otherwise. Just let's move on from that topic because he gets in the fall camp. We'll see what happens. All bets are off, I guess. So, anyway, guys, as I said, Buckeye fans, by and large, you're not angry at this move. They see him as a generational talent. But however, as we said, there's quietly some that may not be, from a personal standpoint, very happy with this. But it does bring up an interesting conversation of, new school college football fans versus old traditionalists. Is money ruining the sport, quote unquote? Is it even dipping into high school a little too much? Because remember, I think his parents are fighting for the idea in Texas that the high school kids can even engage in NIL. So
right, that's the crux of it, right? We'll go to Ohio State if you don't start letting us get paid basically as high school, as a high school senior in the state of Texas, and that's ultra aggressive, right? That's like, okay, we wanted these kids to name, image, and likeness, their high school or their college students, yada yada yada. Oh, now like in a couple weeks, we went to let me get money in high school.
Yeah.
And so that is, I guess this is fair game. If somebody wants to take a shot at it and think about it outside the box and say why this is bad, Corey, it's fair game. What are some of the objections that you have heard?
Well, first and foremost, is on a personal level from him. It's not necessarily bigger picture, but it's about Quinn Ewers himself. It's like, I don't know when he started these talks about coming to Ohio State early. I have no idea. But, if you're going to do something like that, don't you think it'd be better like in April? Somewhere early on, so the team, because now you're kind of leaving your teammates hanging to dry a little bit, right? A little bit. We talked about this earlier, and I agree with the points that you have about it. I'm sure you'll bring them up here in a second, but they're competing for state title with this guy at quarterback, and all of a sudden in August, okay, guys, I'm out. See you. I'm gonna go make some money. Which, at heart, you can't fault him for wanting to, but at the same time, you're a teammate of his thinking, man, we were going to go for a state title, man. This might be the highlight of my life, and now that guy is gone. He doesn't owe it to him necessarily, but
right.
If you're a teammate of his, Johnny, what are you thinking right now?
I would like to think like what you're saying, like, man, you pulled the rug. If it just came and I'm finding about this at like when everybody else did this past week, I'd be like, man, the rug yanked out from under me. I knew you were looking on to bigger and better things, Ohio State. Who wouldn't be? If I'm a kid that has no scholarship or maybe a D2 scholarship or D3, right? And I'm on the team, and I'm like, but, geez, man, I didn't know you were looking forward that much to it. And I'd also be thinking, is this just posturing by you and your family? Because you're doing it because Texas won't let you get paid this year. How much were you going to make just this 1 year? Like, were you going to get paid $1 million by a company for this 1 year of high school football when they know you're gone? Like, how much could it possibly be? Is this just posturing? Do we mean nothing to you? But then, I also see, hey, if I was in his shoes and there's 7 figures on the table, but isn't the 7 figures still going to be there, right? It's still going to be there next year. So I could understand where someone would say, man, you're pulling the rug out from under this team. This team's not the biggest thing in your sports life, but it's the biggest thing in my sports life, probably ever in my whole life. So while he does not owe it to his team, I could see some kids or parents or players or boosters or a lot of people being coaches even rubbed the wrong way. Yeah. Again, he doesn't owe it to him. Like, okay, go win one without me. It's easier said than done. But I could see how someone could, be a little bit hurt.
That's what Jordan told the Bulls. Go win one without me. Anyway, but again, there's also a bigger picture to this, right? I brought up Tate Martell earlier to you in a conversation because we're thinking about we're robbing kids' chances to be kids. Tate Martell was offered a scholarship in 8th grade and he committed to Washington very early on. Imagine this NIL rule dipped into the high school level when Tate Martell was at its most popular. Look, I'm not rooting against the kid, but for all intents and purposes, he was a fairly cocky kid. You know, we all knew that.
That's a double-edged sword you're bringing up, because I think you're about to say he's probably never going to make any money playing football ever.
No, he's not. No.
But so how nice would it have been if he got to back then? Double-edged sword.
It is a double-edged sword. That's the debate that people got to have.
Yeah, because how immature of a human being would Tate Martell be if he was getting checks written in his name in high school?
Yeah, exactly. So are you robbing a kid's chance to be kids, or was he really ever acting like a kid in the first?
Is he losing his scholarship because he's burning a club down or something because he's making $4,000 a week? You know what I mean?
He's pulling a Johnny Mox and taking the whole team to a strip club.
It's just, it looked like he had issues because his parents had a little bit of money, and
that's true. He didn't need the money. That was for sure. Yeah,
but if it's coming straight to him, now granted, other people are probably saying, you can't judge every kid off of Tate's actions. I'm not. We're just bringing this to.
It's just an
bringing this to
example.
light.
It's not.
Yeah,
It's not. It's not doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the norm. I mean, there's a lot of guys who are doing really good things for their NIL ability. So
I think a kid like Master T getting paid in high school wouldn't have bothered him, right?
No,
at
I
all.
agree.
You
No.
know, but
probably would have given it to charity or something. You know, so,
right.
Yeah.
Tate Martell might be swinging from a chandelier, though.
I mean, but again, I mean, that actually feeds into our next point. I mean, is it like pouring gasoline on the fire for prima donna type kids? You know, we talk about coachability and being young men and mature young men. I mean, coaches are looking for guys that I think that are just like. I mean, Myers said it best. Coaches, people I want to coach. Ironically, he recruited Tate Martell, but
I got to win too.
Well, then why'd you recruit Tate Martell? No. That being said, but I mean, it's like you talk about coaches like Bill Belichick, who I just want to be around people I want to be around, which didn't include Tom Brady anymore, I guess. But that being said, he's changed his mind on that one.
We're trying to give these coaches props, and then we like microanalyze them.
Well, I mean, maybe that feeds into it.
Yeah, you're like, maybe you should listen to your own advice.
I mean, I put it in the notes. Is coachability a myth in the first place? I mean, it's just like just talk.
Well, that is a real thing. Is this going to mess with it? Look, I'm not talking about the kids being immature for 17 and 18-year-olds. You are just flat immature when you're that age.
Yeah.
I was, most people are. So, yeah, is that going to make a kid be uncoachable or reduce his coachability or make it help? I mean, Corey, you're in Florida. How many South Florida or any Floridian recruits or recruits around the country would this have maybe messed up pretty bad if they started?
In Florida, it's
scholarships gone. Then you're not even going to school at all. You know what I mean?
In high school football in Florida, it's gasoline on the fire, as I said. And I guess the last point to that is look at the pariah-like nature of recruiting. I mean, parents getting called 60, 70 times by one team, because they want them that bad. I mean, it's just like, does that make it even worse when you talk about including endorsement deals? I mean, it's just like, I mean, my goodness, we did talk about robbing them of a chance to be kids and everything like that. But I mean, it's already bad enough with recruiting this as sick as it is. I mean, now you're including endorsement deals in that. I mean, it's a lot for a 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old to handle.
Hey, I just got a thought.
Oh, boy.
You're talking about pressure on kids, robbing them a normal childhood, and it's bad enough without the money. What do you think QB1 money pays? Because now Netflix probably going to have to pay these kids. That is, kid like Jake Fromm, family didn't need the money, probably done all right. But
Tate didn't either. I mean,
he didn't need it, but I don't think
maybe
I was kind of talking more to the maturity aspect, though. Justin Fields obviously was super mature because he went to Georgia.
I do believe Justin can handle it. Yeah,
just a little shot at Georgia there.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, and then again, we got to move on to the idea that this is new college football, right? This is embrace it. Look, I mean, there's people I think most people are in favor of it from what I can tell on Twitter. And this is a new landscape of college football. You either embrace or you move on from it. I mean, I'm always going to love college football. I think there are little things here and there could damage it, but I'm always going to love college football because the drama on Saturdays is still going to be there, regardless of what happens. Even if it's like one of those, like we expand the playoffs and people are like, well, LSU, whatever, doesn't matter anymore. It's going to matter if LSU gets upset. I don't really care who it is, because of the fact that they can out recruit most of these teams they play. So I don't know. I'm not embracing it necessarily, but I'm accepting it. I guess is kind of where I'm at. I don't love it. I think there's a lot of pitfalls to it, but there's also some positives to it. And I mean, look, Johnny, we talk about them being kids, right? Let's be devil's advocate for a second. Like, look at child actors and musicians who make stupid money.
Yeah.
I mean, and it never ends up well for them, it seems.
Really? Thought they always had glamorous lives.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like they make stupid money when they're kids, and all of a sudden they disappear for 20 years because they're in rehab. So I mean, it's not always the most happy ending of story, happiest of stories, but
it's true.
But again, they are allowed to make that money. So should these young football players look at that kid in 6th grade out running all those kids, I'm going to give him a Nike deal. I mean, it's just is that.
Where does it end? It's like with all this, because I'm not upset that kids are making money. A lot of people coin it like that. If you were anti-NIL, you're
Yeah, yeah.
upset that college kids are making money. I hope everybody that can possibly be rich gets rich. I do. I do acknowledge, though, that there can be pitfalls to it, and you can give people. I came into some money at one point in my life when I was like 18. Terrible. I learned lessons from it, but I was terrible with it, and it can get even worse. But now it's like, where do you draw the line? Because, okay, now college kids, that's one thing, make their money. High school kids. Yeah. So where does it end? It's just like, okay, we're sitting out bowl games. Okay. Now you get kids. I'll sit out my whole senior season. Okay. Now do I skip my high school? That's why I tweeted that joke. Should Jack Sawyer go ahead and sit out and prepare for the 2023 or 24 NFL draft? Like, where does the line get drawn? And you say, well, you're being crazy. Are we, Corey? Because NIL got signed
it keeps
a month ago. It got signed a month ago, and now you got high school kids. For college, it got signed. Now you got high school kids, pay me or I'm leaving. So I mean, this is moving fairly quickly.
We all laughed about the idea of, like, remember Leonard Fournette? Everybody said he should just skip that other season and just go pro. Now we're seeing it. I mean,
there was a high school kid on his Instagram in this recruiting cycle said, he's already said, look, I want to have 2 good seasons, maybe sit my junior year. Okay.
I mean, it's all about the money at this point, which I understand. You got to set up your future when it's this kind of big money, but that's where we are. I mean, and it's really just bringing to light what boosters are doing already anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Probably. I mean, it's just like legalizing drugs, if you ask me. It's just like, people are doing them, so just legalize them. That's how I feel like we're doing. That's how I feel like we're looking at it right now. But I mean, that being said, I mean, does this eventually lead to 18-year-old kids being able to go pro? Just like, forget it. Don't even go to college.
In our lifetime, probably. I don't know that your body can really take it but
same for high school kids in basketball. It's not exactly the same because it's a different sport, but I mean, it's at the same time, it's some of these kids who are not physically ready to go pro, but they go to G League and they develop
I could see the rule being dropped to 2 years, and then in our lifetime easily, like 2 years out of college and then going, instead of 3.
I'm amazed they've kept it this long, to be honest with you. But
yeah, you're right.
But that's the thing. We got kids. It's a little unprecedented, isn't it? I mean, a kid skipping his senior season of football is like, I'm going to go make money in college right now because I can graduate early enough. And administrators in high schools are helping these kids do it in most cases. Not every case. There are schools that just won't even allow early enrollment, but that's going to have to change eventually too. Or kids are transferring high schools now for their own benefit. I mean, Paris Johnson did it so he could go in and enroll early at Ohio State. So. It's really become a tradition's dying, guys. It just is. It's just
new traditions are going to be on the rise. It's just kind of the nature of it.
It is the nature of it. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing because, I mean, I do agree with people being able to make money. You brought up a point of Drew Henson. Everybody thought he was guaranteed to.
There's tons of Drew Hensons, Shea Pattersons. There's tons of them. There's tons of them out there that are highly rated recruits that'll never make much money or any money at all playing pro football.
But unless your name is Quinn Ewers, according to Buckeye Nation, since you are a highly rated recruit, you are guaranteed to be the best quarterback on the roster immediately. So
there are some that believe that.
More than some, unfortunately.
Yeah, more than some. Probably some watching this video right now. I got to say with it, Corey, I don't love it. And I don't love how quickly this is trickling to kids sitting out senior season. I understand it. So before the younger crowd yells at me, I don't love it. I understand it. I didn't love Nick Bosa.
Right now.
I didn't love Nick Bosa going down and staying down. I understood it. I absolutely understood it. Yeah, I don't know where. And this is what's the weirdest to me. Like I said, I can make a ton of arguments for Quinn Ewers skipping and coming and getting money. But like my thing is, but you're going to stay if you get paid this year. Again, how much was a high school kid that was going to leave anyway? He's basically going to play football till Thanksgiving, from now to Thanksgiving. How much was he going to get paid anyway? That's what I almost wonder if this is all posturing anyway.
I'm not sure.
And how many more points do you have before we close it up? Because
that's it. We're good.
I do
guys, hope you enjoyed
that. I do want to say this real quick. You've seen the show Friday Night Lights, Corey?
I love that show.
JD McCoy's dad in the show. You know how he just kind of slimy and
he's disgusting. Yeah,
I was mowing earlier today and I was thinking, man, if those who are mad at Quinn, I would say be maybe more mad. I'm not telling you to like it or not like it. If you don't like it and you're mad at him, maybe be more mad at his parents, because I'm sure they're driving it. And then I was mowing and I was thinking, man, this is probably I don't know the guy from Adam, but it sounds like a JD McCoy dad type of situation, pushing the kid to do it. Hey, you go get some money, strong arm the Texas government, da 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 da. And then I thought, maybe he's not, that was the initial thought. And then I thought, maybe he's not slimy at all. Maybe he just sat and looked at Drew Henson and all those things. And he said, son, you're always one hit away from it being over. I think you're going to be an NFL stud one day and make millions and millions, but we don't know. Go get that money. I don't want a dime of it. Go get that money as quick as you can, as guaranteed as you can. Put it in a Vanguard account. Take care of your retirement in the future. I don't want a dime. And that, I really can't be mad at a parent for it all. So maybe he's not slimy at all. Maybe he's just being not a good dad, a great dad. Yeah.
I agree. I'm not mad at his parents either. You got to protect your son's future. And I completely understand and completely agree. Kid, go get your money while you can, because it's not guaranteed to you. I totally understand that. And you have a talent that's rare, and you have to bank on it, or else I don't even blame Barry Bonds for juicing up. I didn't blame him at all. I was like, he's securing his future for his grandkids. What do I care what he
does? Right. He still made that money.
Yeah, he made that money. Good.
They didn't go take the money back from his contracts. Like, he's on steroids. Oh, you got to pay that back.
The San Francisco didn't care that he was on steroids. So it's
right. No, yeah, fans that bought the jerseys, they didn't return.
But that's kind of the parallel points. Is like, okay, well, you know what? If you can skip your senior season because you're caught up on your credits and Ohio State's good with it, your parents are good with it, you go make your NIL money now. Say he, for whatever reason, it never happens for him. All of a sudden, he's got $1 million in the bank, and you're better off than you ever would have been by just going to college. So,
yep, it's hard to hate it. Yeah, it's like I think that's where we are. Comment below, guys. Let us know. Do you like this? Is this good or bad? Tell us the twists and turns that you think might come with this. So we're out of time. Thank you for bearing with us. You're probably where we are. You may not love it, but we understand it. Goodbye. God bless. And as always, go Bucks.